and welcome, foolish mortals. This is Emily.
And Clayton, your ghost hosts.
Hey, you got
And
it.
we're back. We're back at it again. And we're going to conclude A Magical Life, the Walt Disney animatronic show in Disneyland. We left you off with this a while ago, but we're back. So I think without further ado, Emily,
It's time to make it magical.
okay.
You ready to talk about some Walt today?
Yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room. We couldn't even tell you the last time we recorded.
No.
So we thank you for understanding. We thank you for your patience.
And if you do not follow us on Instagram,
yeah,
we've been sick, unfortunately. Very sick.
We've been sick, and then I got really sick like really quickly. And then Emily managed to hold off of it for 4 or 5 days somehow.
I thought I was in the clear.
And then she got really sick really quickly. Heading into the next weekend. So I spent one weekend completely devoid of life. And then Emily spent the next weekend completely devoid of life.
Obliterated on the couch then.
And it definitely took a lot out of us. It was definitely in a very impressive respiratory illness of some sort. And it really took its toll. Even though I was starting to feel better, I was, not to be too gross, really cleaning out the nostrils for a while, pipes. Let's just say. So it was definitely,
there's a lot of lubrication in the old pipes.
There was a lot of stuff left over. So let's just say,
but we're back. We're
back.
Feeling good again. It seems like we're back to exercising and training for our Disneyland race. That's coming up in January.
We signed up for a new marathon today.
Yeah. Not Disney,
but
still excited.
We signed up for the San Francisco Marathon, which takes place in July.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do that. But I think that's pretty much all that else has been going on. Trying not to be sick, and then
trying to recover.
And then,
but
everything
we're live.
else.
Here we are.
So here we are. So I think we won't go through too much mousekeeping. I think we'll just get right into it today, just because we're a little rusty.
I told Clayton, I wrote this script so long ago. I honestly have no idea what's even included at this point.
Who knows how this is going to go, but
so it's a surprise to both of us. We'll see how it goes.
Where we left you off in this, we had talked basically about this for 2 episodes, kind of the intention and the actual application of this animatronic show. And today is a little bit more the reaction, which when we specifically put this episode off to go and watch the show one more time when we were there for our half marathon checks notes, like literally 5 weeks ago.
I don't like how time works. I don't like that. We've said that a lot these last couple weeks.
Well, considering
what were the other things that made us think about this?
Something with our niece, I think, because you were referencing something from when she was growing up, and then
I don't like how time works.
And then we looked at the clock and we said, "Hey, it's been 7 years," and we're like, "Oh, that's
sorry, what?
That's great.
What now?"
Yeah.
Anywho.
So we had gone to see the show one more time, and we were going to have fresh talks about it. And
it's been over a month.
Who knows? So I think we'll just get into what we'll do, and then we'll see where the show goes with where this episode goes.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. So bear with us this week, and yeah.
Yeah, I will also say before we get into it, we will be talking more about our thoughts on the actual show. We'll give more of a warning, I think, when we get into anything that's spoiling it. I'm pretty sure that's how I broke it down. We'll give some information, kind of my thoughts leading into the show, how it's broken up, because there's an exhibit that you can go through before walking into the theater that accompanies it. I see you're currently freaking out how long this is.
Yeah,
you just scroll through the script. But then we'll kind of give some pointers, because I think there is a preferred place for you to sit. So maybe things to go into the show with that won't ruin it for anyone who doesn't want to really know anything. And then we'll get more into like actual details, things like main things to look out for in the animatronic, because I think that's really important. You might miss it.
Do you legitimately think that this is one episode?
No.
When we didn't think to look at this yesterday when we were doing the planning. Yesterday we sat down, we did all the planning throughout because we have trips and stuff, so we're doing all the planning for the rest of the year for content, and we didn't think to look at this episode and see, will this actually be one episode or two? Because looking at the amount of words that Emily has written,
This is a very important episode.
I feel like, because there's no way.
Well, we may have to reevaluate
All
our
right.
plans, I guess, for the podcast.
Let's get into what we'll do.
Okay. This week, if you are new to the show, by the way, make sure to go check out episodes 1 and 2, or parts 1 and 2 of this Walt Disney Magical Life series. But for this, usually I try and pick a Walt quote. I actually found one from Marty Sklar, and this is in reference to the creation of One Man's Dream.
Now, is this happen to do? There's been a lot of fortuitous breaks in the way that this series has come. Emily is a member of the Walt Disney Family Museum, and they sent her this very lovely quarterly.
I think it's quarterly
magazine.
It's really well put together. Also.
And let me just tell you what, Emily was finding bits and bobs and doodads about this show last night when she was reading it at me. And her dad was putting on a little performance in the kitchen.
All three of us were having different conversations, but also trying to get the attention of each person.
But yeah, episodes 1 and 2, episode 162, episode 163. So a couple weeks back.
Good job. Go check those out first, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So this quote I'm about to say, Marty Sklar, it's in reference to the creation of One Man's Dream. Now, here's a little recap. One Man's Dream, if you're not familiar, this is the film that is currently on display at Hollywood Studios in Florida, the Walt Disney World. And for Walt Disney Magical Life, they decided to take that film and use that as the framework, make some adjustments, but the bulk of it, like 90% of the film, that's basically what you get in this new show.
Yeah.
So this seemed very fitting. When we were researching the attraction, we found that many of our guests under the age of 15 did not know Walt Disney was a real person. They thought it was just the name of the company. We want to present the idea that Walt was an individual, not an icon. This tells the story of Walt the man, and we hope that guests will be moved by the scope of his imagination, what he accomplished, and what he inspired.
That is a good quote, Emily. Anything from Marty Sklar is very pertinent, especially with dealing with Walt Disney, because he knew him very well.
I felt like this was a really great quote. It actually made me think about with our niece, because I had mentioned Walt Disney, and she now understands that it is a person, and Disney isn't just, oh, Disney, it's Tinkerbell and Mickey Mouse. It's like Disney is actually the name of someone who started all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it all came up because of the Funko Pop I have. It's Walt and Mickey together in the fire engine that goes down Main Street in Disneyland. And I asked her, do you know who this is? She said, no. Like, she knew who Mickey Mouse was, obviously. I said, well, this is Walt Disney. She kind of just looked at me very unsure. So I explained, well, this is the man who created Disneyland. Then after that, she kept, like, apparently had told my sister that while they were in the car and said, do you know who Walt Disney is? And, like, now it sticks. So, like, unless you actually tell younger generations, they won't know.
Yeah, there's a future Emily in store with our niece, and Emily's.
Let's just say I was very proud when she was going around saying, "Hey, do you know who Walt Disney is?" Huh? Oh, yes. All right. So I think the best place to start was us going into this show. My plan was to essentially avoid all spoilers and any kind of videos at all costs, because I wanted to go into this attraction completely fresh and free from any kind of prejudgments from others.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that was my intention. I wanted to make sure that this moment of seeing Walt Disney for the first time was in the way that it's meant to be experienced, in the theater setting, with your own eyeballs, not through a video screen. That is the purpose of it. You can also step in too if you have thoughts.
Yeah, I remember how this podcasting thing works.
Okay.
I'm supposed to talk, right? Keep going though. You're doing a good job.
Okay. I think also the important part too, I didn't want my thoughts to be coming from the comment section, which it
Mm.
seems like that's kind of what was happening with a lot of other people's judgments, but we'll get into that. I was literally counting down the days until our Disneyland trip. It's like, okay, we're only a couple weeks out. I've avoided everything like the plague. And then boom, it was the week where they were doing previews, wasn't even open to the public yet. And I could not avoid videos of this Walt animatronic to save my life. I was probably on Instagram for maybe 30 seconds and it literally felt like I was like swatting at flies, like, get out, away, And I'm like, okay, clearly I can't be on social media because to me, the biggest spoiler for this show is seeing the animatronic before you actually see it in person. Like, I don't want this to be ruined. I don't want this to be my first time seeing it through a video. That's not how I wanted it to be. And it's really unfortunate that sometimes you can't avoid it. I totally get with social media. That's how it is now. People want to be the first to post about these videos and share it. Some people are interested in seeing it, but for those who want to avoid it, it becomes pretty impossible sometimes. And I've heard from other people when I basically said, I'm going to take a break from social media because clearly this isn't going to work if I want to be completely free of spoilers altogether before a trip. People messaged me and said, yeah, that's kind of how I wanted to go into my Disneyland trip too. But like a video just popped up and it kind of ruined it for me. And there's like no spoilers. It just gets thrust upon you whether you want to see it or not. And that's just unfortunate. That's just the nature of the game these days. Am I having a one-woman conversation?
No, I'm trying not to say anything that it's just, yeah, no, I understand the concern with that and not having to want it to be spoilered. I get that for sure. It's very tough in this day and age because everyone's got to post about everything. But I avoid it in a different way just because I'm not in that sphere. But let's continue.
Okay.
Yeah. That was really eloquently put, Clayton. You did a good job. High five myself.
Claps for you.
High five.
So I really did my best. I got very short glimpses of looking at the animatronic. I'm like, no, okay, I'm not gonna think anything of it. I need to wait until I see it in person. And then of course, as with anything, I saw some of the comments immediately. I did not like what I saw in the comments. It was very much one-sided, I guess you could say, and what was being said about this animatronic, clearly from people who had not seen it for themselves. They're just seeing it through a video. So I'm like, I can't deal with this. I don't want this to ruin my enjoyment, my time out of going to see this for myself for the first time. I think it's pretty clear based on any time we talk about Walt Disney on the show or Disney history. This is one of those projects that has meant so much to me. I was most excited about this out of anything that was announced at a D23. I'm like, I didn't think it was a possibility the Disney company would ever approve something like this. And that they finally were. I'm like, I don't want anything to ruin it for me going in. I want it to just be about my personal enjoyment, being in the moment, seeing it for myself, and that being my experience, not being painted in a different light because of what the internet says. So I did not want to snap judge. I said, I'm going to reserve it. I'm not going to listen to anything. I'm quieting it out like la 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 la. Nuh-uh, you cannot ruin it for me. And what I thought was interesting, I think I made a point of this. I think all of this combined my experience going in and a lot of the dampering, I guess, on the show that I was seeing right when it released. It's kind of why I wanted to do a deep dive on the show because a lot of the feedback on it was just negative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of a word that's not negative because I don't want to say if you don't immediately like something that you're being negative, but I can't think of the right word.
I think negative is a fair word for how social media reacts to things. Negative is the right way to do it because there's no nuance in social media. It's either you are outraged,
overly positive,
or you're overly positive. And if you're on the other side of the fence trying to have a nuanced conversation, you're just sucking up to the company or you're just hating to hate, and there's no nuance. So
Okay,
that's
I
what social
wrote
media
this
is.
word, which I think is very fitting. I felt as if the show was maybe being misrepresented or rather being highlighted solely for the wrong reasons in like this echo chamber, and that's all that was happening. We'll, of course, dive into all that today, whether I think the criticisms are valid, what we actually think of it, and what our takeaways were from it. But I actually, once we saw the show and I posted in our stories about it, because spoiler alert, we really enjoyed it. I loved it. I think if anything, it's one of my favorite things that's come out of Disney in quite some time. And we got so many messages from people saying, I'm so happy you enjoyed it. Like, this is so nice to see. It's very refreshing that like this is what someone is saying about the show, not just commenting on what they think of the animatronic when they haven't even seen it. And one of our listeners, Ant, he was kind of going back and forth with me on it and said he kind of how I felt about what was being said about this animatronic show. Sometimes feels this way with like Star Wars also and the backlash that it gets, where he really loves and enjoys Star Wars. And sometimes when there's just a bunch of negativity or people kind of trashing on it and saying, this isn't my Star Wars, this is ruining what I grew up with, like it kind of almost tries, like people almost try to take away your enjoyment of that thing.
No, I am in agreement. I mean, I have very specific feelings about this whole thing, but I think the thing to remember is that any social media is always a microcosm of the larger grouping of people that go. And every time we've been in that room, you hear tears or gasps or, specifically, people that are looking at it like it's a tremendous achievement. And the comments that come up on social media are legitimately just a microcosm. And there were the loudest always wins. And that's the
Yeah.
problem, is that the loudest always win, and they are
That's
always
with a lot
make
of
themselves
things
heard. So that
too.
includes Star Wars as well, because if you like the sequels, you hate Star Wars for some unbeknownst reason. But that's because more and more there's no ability to have a nuanced conversation with any topic. And that's just a general societal thing, I think, in my opinion. So that,
Yes.
I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but it's true.
The point of this whole episode will be not to be Debbie Downers, basically, without really giving
We're
too
off to a
much
pretty great
away.
start from that perspective, though.
What?
I said we're off to a great start then in that case.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. Emily, that was a
Oh.
joke. Come on. You should know that was a joke.
We haven't done this for many weeks. I don't know.
Emily's taking everything I say a little too literally, and she needs to know that I am a jokester. And I'm a little surprised you
You're
wouldn't know that.
joking.
You're joking, right?
That's our thing. We
Yeah.
always like to say, whenever someone says you're joking, we like to say like, oh, you're joking.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're trying to make that a thing. I don't think that's a thing that we do.
That is the thing we
No,
do.
I think it's a thing you do.
No, you
And
respond back and say,
I just
"You're
did it,
joking."
but I think that's a thing that you do.
No, it's an agreed act we do
Okay.
together.
All right. Are we ready to get
Wait,
into this? Oh, we're
okay,
still not.
so-
There's no way this is one
my
episode.
lead-in, Clayton.
There's no way that's one episode. It took you 10 minutes to do the lead into this 2 episodes for sure. No, it's fine. It's our show. We can do whatever we want. We can make this 10 episodes if we wanted to. Doesn't matter. I think it's funny how you looked at this and said, yeah, it's probably one episode. Like,
I legitimately forgot how long this was. Sorry. Not sorry, though. Not sorry at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Without giving too much away right off the bat, I think what I'm trying to get at here with this lead in is go have experiences for yourselves. Just because others say, oh, this isn't good, I don't like this, what were people thinking, you shouldn't like this, don't let that be a detractor from you going out and wanting to see something, experience it for yourself in the way it's meant to. And don't let the critiques of others cloud your own enjoyment and opinions of something, because you're allowed to like what you like. Don't let others ruin that for you.
Yeah, you're allowed to like what you like.
And in addition, this is also to say, if you do like something, make it known too. Like, especially for Disney, if a lot of the comments or feedback are negative, if you like it, scream it to the rooftops. Let them know. Let them know why you like it. Let them hear it. And for anything else, like whether it's content creators you like, if you enjoy it, make sure to let them know, because a lot of the times what happens, the people who don't like it or have a problem, they're the ones who speak out and let the creators know, not the people who actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I think
So
it's a very important thing with anything, no matter what it is. Tell the people you like what they're doing.
yeah, make sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Okay. All right, let's
That
get
wasn't
into
me
it.
pandering, by the way. I'm just saying for anybody, it's better to let them know you like something than let the
I don't
others.
know. That seemed like a pretty panderific statement.
Panderific, huh?
All right, now let's talk about why this project is so important for fans and guests,
And really myself.
and mostly Emily. and then whenever that
And you, Clayton.
whenever the Magic Kingdom thing is going to show up, she's going to be there opening day probably.
I can't wait.
I owe Emily so
excited.
much money. It's not even ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if she was there opening day for that thing, Magic Kingdom.
I can't wait. I'm
I'm
so excited.
really afraid to buy my bike because I'll be in debt for a long time. All right. Us.
Whoa.
Volume control is
Why
important.
did you scream
I'm so
that?
sorry. I'm so sorry. Volume control is important.
Apparently when you
I don't really know what we're doing.
Apparently when we take a couple weeks off from podcasting, it's like we're starting from square one again.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's some work stuff going on. So it's just been a weird weekend already. And then when you haven't done this for a couple weeks, you lose control. You just don't know what you're doing anymore.
You don't know what you're doing.
You just don't know. You're joking.
You're joking.
So
See, that's the thing we do.
So unless you are essentially probably in your late 70s or your 70s, you probably never existed in the parks at a time in which Walt Disney also existed. That was a very interesting way to say that.
Okay.
But we a lot of generations, including this generation, we are the millennial generation.
And generations before us.
You know, I'm breaking generational bonds. You know how I'm doing that?
How?
I'm pulling out the Gen Z is after us, right?
I don't know anything anymore.
Apparently, you can tell a millennial and a Gen Zer by the length of their socks. And millennials, which I've never felt more seen by a specific comment, we're apparently, we're the ankle sock generation.
Huh.
And Gen Z.
So like my little baby socks that I always wear?
Yeah, and the ones I wear, right?
Yeah.
But Gen Z always like the tube socks, kind of like the ones. But I've switched to long socks for my running. So, you know, I'm trying to break down the generational boundaries between us and what are they? Gen Z?
Stop.
What are we?
I said I don't know.
We can watch documentaries, interviews, and the like, research all we want. This seems like Emily should be reading this because that's honestly all she does. But we weren't part of a generation that had the opportunity to grow up with Uncle Walt on our television set and see him walking around the parks amongst his guests. The closest we'll ever get is visiting Disneyland, touring Walt Disney's apartment on Main Street, seeing Marceline, Missouri, or stepping inside his office at the Burbank studio. That's about it at this point. That's about as close as we'll get to feeling his presence. Now, those few and far between moments and places, and it's very difficult. It's not easy to get into those places because, you know, it's very expensive to do the Walt tour at Disneyland. They do the Burbank studio tour. You know, it's not like they do that a lot. You know, these are experiences that we've been fortunate to do.
We haven't been in Walt's apartment.
I said do some of them.
Oh.
Emily's like, but we haven't done the apartment.
Unless you live in Missouri. Yeah, also getting to Marceline, Missouri, that's another cost on top of it, which I would love to do that someday. Wink, wink. I will say, just being in Disneyland, there are definitely a lot of parts to it. You can feel Walt's presence. You don't necessarily need to be in his apartment. You can feel it, and especially when you look at old photos of where, like, very famous ones, like Walt standing in Fantasyland in front of the castle with no one else around, him walking down Main Street, him in the fire engine in front of the castle. There are a lot of pieces to Disneyland. It's a theme park that just doesn't get built anymore. There's a lot of charm to it, a lot of oddities, and that's what makes it so special. And it is the only Disney park that Walt ever walked inside of. And you do feel it there. But it is a cost to also just get into Disneyland.
A cost that just recently went up. But somehow my travel agent, let me
You
do
don't
it.
know. He's pointing at me.
My travel agent, Emily, somehow managed to talk her travel clients, me, into an extra day at Disneyland, even though the prices went up.
You're not making this a very good reason for people to book with me,
Well, actually, because we are going in January or February, we're going for the run. And we were going to do a 2-day park hopper. But now apparently California, all of California state, at least up to at least the Bay Area, can get a 3-day park hopper for cheap.
Or significantly cheaper than
a
a
2-day
park
ticket.
Yeah.
And so we were just going to drive down, maybe go have dinner in the parks. But my travel agent said, no, that's not good enough.
Value out of that
Let's get full value out of the ticket. And now we're flying down. I saw my managed to have another night added to our stay.
It just makes sense.
Another day added to the park. But she saved me money on it. So,
I'm not sure if this is a very good ad about booking travel with me or not.
Yeah, it's because we didn't write it down. It was from the heart. I mean, that's actually not right either. That's not a good way to say that either.
I mean, the best way to look at it is I saved you money on tickets.
Yes, she saved me
and
money on
got you
tickets.
more time in the parks while we're at it.
Exactly. Because she's my travel agent. And that's what she does.
You could also say, I highly recommend you.
I do highly recommend her services. She's my travel agent. She's the travel agent extraordinaire. Now, again, as we were saying, when you walk inside Disneyland, you feel it, you have it. It's a park like no others. There's many that try to represent and be Disneyland, but they're just not there. They're just not Disneyland.
It's not a competition, Clayton.
But we can basically, all this is to say, there's a lot of different ways you can feel that connection, but we never got to, hold his hand, I guess, so to say. Walt's hand.
I mean, even the moments where you feel connected to Walt, they are few and far between to this point.
Yeah. So those few and far between moments, again, those are the ones that we were talking about. And places, even though while in Disneyland you can feel that connection, it does make up a huge, having that connection is a huge reason why some people.
You should also be pointing at you.
I go so that you feel happy a lot of it. And then I also feel the connection, but really.
And then you feel it through osmosis from me to you.
Really, you feel the connection. Certain people over here to my right, when they're in that parks, they feel the connection. For a lot of people, I know Emily's not the only one, and she definitely follows some of the people, and I've definitely heard it.
I'm not like Tigger. I'm not the only one.
There's a lot of people that feel that connection. They really go to the parks because of the deeper meaning than just getting on a ride and having the new. And again, everyone's park. I'm not trying to sort of work.
It's okay if you.
Everyone's park experience is different. Don't come at me. Don't come at me.
It is also okay if you do just go on rides. Yes. That is completely fine.
Or if you want to try some food item, I get it. You want to post that on social media, I get it.
Lounge flight. That's
do whatever.
Also okay.
Do whatever you want, man. Do whatever you want. I'm just saying, for whatever you enjoy, like going to the parks, that's perfectly fine, and that's part of the beauty of it, and that's part of the beauty of what Walt Disney wanted. Look how I saved myself on that one.
Good job.
Look at that. So, because again, everyone's park experience is different. And the reason why people love these parks is all different. I love it because my wife loves it. And this is where we spent a lot of formative time in our relationship. And she loves it because, well, she's one big nerd who spent her entire childhood there and decided
in the script
to tie her entire identity to it. But I do it because I love her. And I also love it.
Why do you love it, though?
Because I love you.
No, I want to hear why you actually.
Because I love you.
You only love it because I love it.
Well, I mean, we know that my experience with it before I met you was essentially none. And it fostered, and you and I have fostered this relationship, and it's been a really big part of our relationship. A lot of formative moments in our life are tied around Disney, and I enjoy the history of it, and I enjoy seeing that smiling face of yours when you brighten up, when you walk into those parks, and you act like an absolute Looney Tune.
And I dress like a little child with my Mickey ear hat.
With your child Mickey eared hat.
My lounge fly.
You feel it when you walk inside Disneyland. It's a place like no other, and that love, inspiration, passion is all truly tied to the story of Walt Disney and how he tirelessly, ruthlessly, unapologetically, those are pretty intense words, followed his dreams and was always striving for what he could do next. Sure, we could say all of that, but we still never knew him. You can watch videos, you can see the clips. I'm sure we've all seen him. He's walking through the orange grove. He's doing all this.
You
He's
see him taking those steps, mapping out Disneyland.
You watch the Disneyland TV show. You've seen it all. You've heard him talk, but you can't say that you've known the man. But it's really different than being in the room with him, and that's kind of what this show gives us the opportunity to do,
or as close as we'll ever possibly get. You can never replicate meeting the actual Walt Disney, but this is taking this to the next step in the best way or the only way we can.
And so the introduction of a Walt Disney: A Magical Life, this is the first time in our lives where you can be in the room with, Emily wrote, our hero.
I think for the people listening to this, we can all say our hero.
I honestly don't know. If you asked me who my heroes are, I don't even know
Disney.
how to answer that question.
Would Walt Disney be one of your heroes?
I'm trying to think of what it would have been when I was a kid when they always asked you that question. I don't even know how to answer that question.
You know how in grade school when you usually get to choose, you can do a biography? Yeah. Can you guess who I chose?
Walt Disney.
Yeah, of course.
Our nieces, she doesn't stand a chance. She's
on the correct trajectory towards a lifelong Disney nerd. Let's just say that.
We're getting further away from where he was when he was alive, and as the years progress, the distance keeps growing. Great way to say time never stops, Emily.
Everyone, it's time to have an existential crisis.
I just had an existential crisis there in about that microsecond. There's now so few left of people that actually knew and worked with him, and I think I can count them on one hand. Close to? Well, the most well-known one obviously is Bob Gurr.
There's multiple. Floyd Norman was the first Black animator. I mean, there's a list. But this is to point out, it's not like there's just one left, but that list is dwindling at this point. And fun fact, since it's been a while, let's mention The Imagineering Story by Leslie Iwerks. Big reason she wanted to do it and a driving force for her to complete the documentary and write the book was because the people that knew Walt Disney were slowly becoming less and less over time, and she wanted to get these actual accounts from the people that knew him and were part of it. It's one thing hearing history passed down opposed to actually hearing it from the people that were there.
So to have a dedicated space that honors and informs people of the true entertainer, visionary, and innovator that he was, and how difficult it was for him to build Disney into what it is to us, that's a wonderful thing. To have money to put into a project that doesn't push lightning lanes, push Disney Plus, just about the history, paying respect, and honoring the company's founder in the park that was the only one he ever stepped inside. That park that changed the game forever. I don't know why that pause, that delivery was weird. I don't even know. Game forever, what it meant to visit a theme park, putting meaning on the entire park experience that no one valued or cared about prior. Essentially, it gives us more of a connection with Walt Disney. We'll never have the opportunity to be in his presence, but having him in animatronic form is the closest we can ever get. It will never take place or fully replicate what it was to be in a room with him, but the fact that animatronics advanced to such a degree that it is a possibility is quite spectacular. It will educate, inform, enlighten people who may not know much about Disney history or who Walt Disney was. His vision, ideology, and philosophy. Are
you okay?
Philosophy.
There you go.
Are just as relevant and powerful today as they were back then. Any added Walt representation is a wonderful thing in our opinion.
No, you were going to say in my opinion.
In your opinion.
In Clayton's humble opinion, any Walt presence is a good thing in the Disney parks.
Speaking of, there was another representation of the Disney family that was just put into Disneyland just recently, which we saw when we were there, and we just now realize is actually new because I was like, I've never seen that before.
You know how
and now we have the confirmation.
It's from the Walt Disney Family Museum. They had a whole article on it. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Lily and Disney in honor of their 100 and...
Oh, boy.
It can't have been that much, right? Hello. No, yeah, they got married in like the 20s. It's like 100 year. It's their 100th anniversary, right? 100th wedding anniversary.
100th wedding anniversary. What was really interesting was they said 3 generations of the Miller family. So Miller should maybe sound familiar. Diane Disney Miller
Ron Miller.
married Ron Miller. Their children, Diane was one of Walt's children. So 3 generations of the Miller family were invited to the unveiling of the new decorative window on Main Street at Disneyland. It's one dedicated to Lillian,
Yeah.
Walt's wife. Very cool. And then they said they had a whole ceremony followed by a private preview of the Walt animatronic. And then they did a private reception at the Golden Horseshoe. Because, if you don't know, Walt and Lillian had their own 30th wedding anniversary hosted in the same place just a couple days before Disneyland actually opened.
I knew that.
Very special.
I knew that.
You did know all that. You know how you know that? Building Disneyland.
My wife did all the research for that, in case you didn't know that. That's right.
By the way, if people are new, Building Disneyland is a series we did.
Yeah.
2 years. How long ago was
that?
Don't
say anything related to time. My back will break a little bit more. All right. What we're going to do next is we're going to take you through a little bit of what it's like to walk into this attraction. I think probably that will be what we do today. And then we will pick up on all the other where to sit, how it's like, what it is, that, and our final feelings on it, because there's no way that this is one episode. So,
okay.
The experience of walking into Walt Disney Magical Life. You walk into the park. The day is young.
It's almost like there's a spotlight shining on
There's
the Opera House.
A song playing in the Main Street air. You're not racing down Main Street to get to Rise of the Resistance. No, you stop in front.
You smell that
those
churros and popcorn.
You stop in front of the oldest building in all of Disneyland.
Are you waiting for me to give you praise?
Yeah, give me some praise here. Come on, that's what I do everything for on the show.
Good job, Clayton.
Yeah, oldest building in all of Disneyland, the Opera House. It was a functioning lumber mill during the building of Disneyland.
Very true.
So it is the oldest building in Disneyland.
Has a lot of historical significance.
That's right. Not only do you come here for the hilariously good looks and the witty gags.
Hilarious. Are you saying we're not good looking?
I don't know.
I don't know how to take that. That seems like a backhanded compliment.
I don't know where I'm going with that. You come here for the looks. You come here for the gags, the jokes, but you also come for some really good history tidbits.
And for Clayton to wait for his praise.
Hey, that's a dime of a piece of information. You should.
That's a great factoid to have stored up in that noggin of yours.
Just, you're going to go on a Disney cruise and who are you going to book that Disney cruise with? You're going to book it with this travel agent, Emily, and you're going to do the Disneyland or maybe the Disney trivia, Disney Parks trivia. And you never know. One day they might not ask like, hey, what's a Mickey pretzel or something? They might ask, what's the oldest building on Disneyland property? And you will be armed to write down furiously the Opera House and win your little gold medallion of plastic medallion.
Oh
with
yeah,
a character
it's totally just my script being the reason this is going to be 2 parts.
Hey. I missed this. Let me have my fun a little bit. So
you missed this. Oh, Clayton, you do enjoy it. You are a Disney nerd.
Oh my goodness. Okay. You're sitting in front of the Opera House.
That means yes, everybody.
And
he just moves on and can't
presented with beautiful signage. Obviously, this will be split. It's basically Walt Disney Magical Life, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, but the signage is very pretty. So they updated the signage on the Opera House, enticing you in. You walk into the Opera House now.
Not like you walked in before.
No, you walk into it now. You were just standing outside of it before. Now you walk into it. You're presented with a bench, a green bench, a bench from Griffith Park, where a man with his 2 daughters sat next to a merry-go-round or something.
2 daughters on their way.
One wore blue and one wore gray. Frilly dresses made me think it's time for a theme park.
Wow.
One where
that wasn't so
we
good.
all can play. Ouch.
Play all day.
Spend some dollars and something else.
But at an affordable rate.
Not so much anymore.
Okay, Clayton, stop it. I'm not talking about
Come on, that was good. That was
No.
good. That was good. Come on. That was
You
both.
come on.
That was both.
Come on.
That was both relevant and hilarious, at least in my opinion. Okay. So you walk in.
Oh my God.
What?
You said you walk in like 10 times.
You walked in, you walked past the bench. You're presented with probably Emily's favorite room in all of Disneyland right now, the museum, the gallery.
So beautiful.
Emily's walking around looking at pictures of all this. She's like, I've never seen this picture before. They've never brought this out before. A lot of schematic drawings of the building of Disneyland, a lot of stuff brought for
Don't
this
worry, we'll get
purposes.
more details in a second.
Okay. Good. I didn't have to explain it.
But what's really nice, you can experience this little exhibit at your own pace, which is what I did. And Clayton probably thought I took way too long, which I could say can never take too long looking at all those beauties.
I would never, ever say that. Now, before you go enjoy your 15-minute presentation of the movie actually called?
I said this at the beginning of the
I remember.
And it's written right there.
One Man's Dream.
This is, as I said earlier, it's a slightly modified version of the Hollywood Studios One Man's Dream.
Yeah, could we have gotten literally anyone else to be the narrator? Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
We have a 15-minute film and a 2-minute presentation of the animatronic. But before you get that, you get a walk through a gallery. Everyone's favorite, or mostly Emily's favorite gallery. This gallery is entitled Disneyland Evolution of a Dream. And it explores the history of the park and its development. All kinds of stuff that Emily's never seen before. She was running around like a kid in a candy store. I'd never seen the schematic drawing before. I'm like, how many schematic drawings of Disneyland have you seen to the point where you could say, they've never brought this out? These were the exact words that she said to me. They've never shown this. I was like, how do you even know that they've never shown this?
This is brand new information.
How do you know that? Is what I said. And she's like, I just do. I was like, what is going on? I'm going to go take some pictures of Disneyland. You take your time in here.
As I'm drooling over this concept
That was what you legitimately said. They've never brought this out before. I was like, how do you know that?
They haven't. And they literally have a video in the corner talking about how it's the first time all these are in the same room.
There are sections dedicated to the history of animatronics, Walt's humanitarian efforts, awards, and accolades. Artifacts include items from the Walt Disney's original Disneyland apartment.
Yes, actual original pieces.
That's behind the glass.
Yeah, it is.
And that exit exhibit is dedicated to the Disneyland Resort cast members over the years. So generally, like if you've not been to Disneyland, let's say from Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, you walk in, usually they have a rotating exhibit. Now this one obviously is built for this specific one. And since it's Disneyland centric. Let's say you go into the show, you do the movie, and let's say if it's Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln's, you get two brothers, and then you get to see the Lincoln, and then you walk out, and then there's like a exit exhibit, and the Lincoln exit exhibit is dedicated to like people that are like change the game kind of type thing, right? And
the creators, innovators,
yeah, and this
all walks of life.
And for the Walt show, it's dedicated to the cast members.
70 years of cast members.
70 years of cast members. So that's a nice touch.
And they have a really cool mural on the other side, which I point out to Clayton features the people mover.
So this exhibit includes some never before seen concept art that we were saying, and artifacts showcasing the history of the Disneyland before, during, and after Walt's lifetime. The artwork that I've mentioned multiple times, and that Emily got so excited. Did you like literally just type this in there?
No, I told you I completely forgot what I had written.
Because this is like a month ago. Is like literally writing down the exact sentence that we just talked about.
Maybe because I knew you were going to focus on that.
The artwork that Clayton mentioned that you got so excited about were pencil drawing artworks of the first and second layer preliminary plans for Disneyland. I don't understand how that's possible. You went into the future, wrote that in there, and somehow knew.
I know what you're going to emphasize.
I've been typecast. I don't like this. I don't like this.
I should have also had a sentence that's Emily mentions the people mover on the mural and then follows, I predict Clayton will do a sigh the people mover.
I don't like how I've been typecast on this show. I don't like that at all. Imagineer Tom Fitzgerald had said that these missing pieces were found rolled up in a tube in recent years for the very first time.
Could you?
How are they still finding stuff?
I would love to be the person to uncover this kind of
The
stuff.
archivists need to step up their game because how are they still finding stuff? That's crazy.
I mean, there's so many things over the years. So probably it was in a nondescript tube. They probably thought it was nothing and it just got put in with all of the other historical Disney items. And I don't know, there's probably just so much they still haven't sifted through everything at this point.
They connect the dots between Walt's earlier plans for Disneyland and what would eventually open in 1955. This is the start, and then the exhibit branches off in areas dedicated to Walt's 5 lands with over 100 pieces of concept art. Imagineering worked with the archives to curate displays featuring memorabilia from the early days of Disneyland. The Walt Disney Family Museum also worked in collaboration with Imagineering to bring the exhibit to life. Over 30 artifacts from the museum lobby were collected and loaned out to Disneyland, including furniture from Walt's private apartment above the fire station.
And what I thought was really cool, right next to this whole Walt's apartment display, and they actually had a table with brochures for the Walt Disney Family Museum. Like, this is great. I love it.
Yeah, if you've not been to the Walt Disney Family Museum, the opening exhibit essentially is the lobby, which has all of Walt's awards. And last time we were there, we noticed that some of them were missing, and then we found them in Disneyland.
Oh, very cool. Now they're all in Disneyland now for the very first time. Actually, what I just read about in my Walt Disney Family Museum little, what would you call this? Mailer?
Yeah, it's a quarterly magazine or something. Yeah.
They talked about how it took them like a year and a half to like get everything prepped, ready, shipped, and loaned out to Disneyland. And for some items from the Disney family's apartment, they had like a table they wanted to bring over, but it was too unstable to the point where they were worried about transporting it to Disneyland, so they couldn't bring the actual original and ship it. So rather, they built a complete replica to hold up that authenticity and the realistic nature and put that in the display instead, since they couldn't bring the original.
Interesting. The Disney family had...
Isn't that just fascinating?
It's just absolutely fascinating. The Disney family had come into his apartment a few years after his passing and took the furniture. The furniture that's in the apartment since the 70s aren't the originals. The furniture on display, which is 4 center chairs and the lamp, are Walt's and were in the apartment while he was alive.
So these ones being the one currently on display in the exhibit right now in Disneyland.
The next room celebrates the history of animatronic technology. There isn't a barrier between you and the animatronics,
which I think is
I feel like
it's very cool, but also at the same time, I foresee they're probably going to have to put a barrier up. Case in point, while I was there and Clay was gone, and I was looking at everything in great detail, some guy like put his hand over the barrier and was like touching.
Don't touch it, dude.
Touching the display item. I'm like, what are you doing? This is why things get ruined, because people can't just keep to themselves.
Have some self-respect. Don't touch it.
Don't touch the animatronic.
Don't touch
Show
the
it some respect.
Family. Don't touch the animatronics.
What?
You know how you say don't touch the animals?
Yeah.
Don't touch the animatronics. Oh, come on. That was gold, Jerry. Gold, I say.
Oh, yeah.
That was hilarious.
Okay, it was hilarious, Clayton.
I mean, it was probably not really that funny, but... most pieces are replicas except for the small world doll.
Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, Emily was plotting how to steal that thing.
No, I wasn't. Respect the display items.
It was being used at the WDI to show Imagineers how the older figures worked. The doll is from the original 1964-1965 World's Fair.
How cool. And they have it where it's still moving.
That's pretty cool.
It's an original Small World doll. So cool.
There was an entire wall of Walt photos.
Yeah, really great.
And there's a video playing towards the back, which really gets you in the feels. Oof. The compilation of Disney legends and icons like Tony Baxter, Bob Gurr, Don Iwerks, Rolly Crump, Sherman Brothers, Kim Irvine, Mark Davis, Alice Davis, John Hench. The list goes literally on and on.
Or keep the theme with Disney. It goes on for Niles.
Darn it.
And Niles.
Nope.
And Niles.
Nope.
You don't believe me? You're in
denial.
You're in a boat. You're on a podcast.
You're in denial. You're not.
That's what they do now.
Well,
you're on a podcast.
The original joke is denial.
You're just on a podcast, Clayton.
I don't know where I am anymore. How about that? And I like how you literally, again, stepped into the future and wrote this line. Oh, there's a mural at exits of tons of great. Mural at the exit of tons of a great reference to past parades, shows, attractions, cast members, and of course, the People Mover is featured in there, Clayton.
That's what I've written. I specifically called you out in this sentence.
My goodness. Okay. So now that you've spent at least an hour looking at the exhibit, and you've missed
minimum, of course.
You probably missed at least 3 of the showings that could have been done. I'm not speaking from personal experience at all.
No, you're not.
Because we only missed 2 of the showings, and we got the 3rd one. It's now time to step inside the doors to the theater. So the cast member will say, hey, stand behind that yellow line. The doors will magically open towards you. I don't know if that's what they actually say.
If you step over that line, it will magically hit you in the face.
Yeah, don't do that. Now you're going to step in, and then you're going to find your seat. You're going to walk all the way to the other row, all the way to the other side, make plenty of room for everyone.
But no one does that, of course.
No one does that, of course. We walk halfway down. I'm sitting right here. There's nothing you can do to stop me. So once the curtains lights go off, I guess more like it, the curtains will open and One Man's Dream will start to play. Now, this is the beloved documentary which originally debuted on October 1st, 2001 at, stay with me now, everyone, Disney's Hollywood Studios. As part of the 100 Years of Magic celebration marking the 100th birthday of one Mr. Walt Disney. The film is still shown in Hollywood Studios to this day, and even though I've seen it so many times, we make sure to see it every time we go to Hollywood Studios.
It's required.
And even though the exhibit hasn't changed that much in front of it, we still manage to spend a pretty large amount of time. And I get quizzed on missing exhibits all the time. Did you see that? Of course I did, dear. She's like, no, you didn't. Come on.
We're paying close enough attention. Get back there.
That's my Hollywood Studios experience, everyone. The film was originally narrated by then CEO Michael Eisner, but he was replaced by Julie Andrews when the film was updated upon Eisner's departure. Wow, Disney was just like, sorry, Eisner, we're cutting you out of everything. No notes, Emily says. She's the literal definition of the Martin Scorsese meme. Absolute cinema is what Emily says every time the show comes on. Of course, she's dotting her eyes of all the tears that she's trying not to cry. Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. And then I'm like, okay, it's time to leave, dear. And she's like, just give me a minute.
I'm not ready.
Julie Andrews was an incredible choice. However, we have some notes on choosing Bob Iger as the narrator for the Disneyland version.
More on that to come.
More on that to come. But we might just say it just doesn't have the same emotional value as Julie Andrews. But could we say whether or not?
Just read what I wrote.
Although, do we have a suggestion on who is a better fit?
I asked you this afterwards.
No,
I don't really. I mean, still, it's like, yeah, Julie Andrews is such a perfect fit in Hollywood Studios. If I was to think of someone else, I don't know. I don't really have a list of obvious choices that they should have chose from.
Yeah, I don't know.
So something interesting to think about for a little bit.
Just as they did with Eisner back in the day, it's the current CEO introducing the first CEO. If you've never seen One Man's Dream, you're in for a
treat, let me tell you.
It's so good, says local podcaster Emily Sullivan.
No, you're saying this right
now. That
now.
It leaves her in tears.
No,
every single time.
It leaves you in tears every single time.
And to have a version of that in Disneyland is, well...
What took you so long, Disney? That's all I have to say. Belongs there too. It's so good.
Now, aside from the Bob Iger edition, the film was uniquely adapted specifically for the show, all while taking us on a journey from Walt's childhood through to his vision for Walt Disney World and Epcot. All told in his very own words, not worlds.
The world.
The world is a carousel of color, some might say. The Walt Disney Family Museum said that there was a new update with a segment of home movies with Walt and his daughters. The original composer for One Man's Dream, Bruce Broughton, was brought
or Broughton.
You were stitching yourself up on that one, weren't you? Yeah, you were. He was brought back to make new arrangements for this updated film.
Fun. Now that's true comedy.
Now, if you're ready for a fun fact, I'm going to tell you one. Bruce Broughton is also the man that composed the current version of the Spaceship Earth score and plenty of other fantastic music.
Ooh, that Spaceship Earth score is something else.
The film here doesn't have to have the big emotional finale like the one in Hollywood Studios, but Disneyland's ends on Walt talking about the Florida project, and that's the moment gearing us up for the big moment of the meeting of us and the Walt animatronic.
In his own office.
In his own office. Now the moment is here. 15-minute film concludes. The curtains rise. Technically, they extend out. But
the parting of the sea. No?
I don't know about that. And we see the very first Walt Disney animatronic figure for the final few minutes. Now, let's talk about that very specific animatronic. And I think that's where we're going to leave it off.
Sure.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it.
So the animatronic itself, we've talked about it. Its attention to detail is astounding for a number of reasons. But Imagineering crafted his onstage office to represent a blending between what his real office, it does very much look very similar to his real office. I can say it because I've been there.
Say we've been there. We've done that.
A humble brag, I think is what they call that. Not very humble, but.
Been there, done that.
What?
It is the coolest thing.
It is pretty
cool.
If you ever have the opportunity.
If you have the extra money to do so, I cannot say how much I recommend doing this as a Disney fan. It is the coolest thing, getting a tour of the studios and step inside Walt's apartment. It is expensive, but when you compare what you're getting out of a tour like that compared to like a one-day ticket,
yeah.
And if you wanted to do a one-day ticket with a Walt's apartment tour on top of that, it's well worth the money to do the Burbank tour of the studio.
This his office on stage does very much blend what his real work office was versus what his show office was, because he had two offices. And in his work office,
for the television series, that would be every Sunday night. They tried to pull elements to make it seem like he was in his own office, but that wasn't his real one they would film in. So they tried to do a nice little mix mash of the two together.
Makes sense.
Make it a hybrid for the one you get to see on stage in Disneyland now.
Yeah. Stories, anecdotes, and words of wisdom are told by Walt Disney using historical recordings. These recordings are a mixture gathered from several different interviews. Imagineers worked hard to clean up the original tracks and seamlessly blend them together, where it's one cohesive monologue presented by Walt to the theater.
You would never know, too, from the way it all flows together, that these were pieces taken from different interviews. Yeah. They did a great job of interweaving them. Like, you can't even tell where one part ends and it's sample or taken from another interview where the next spot begins.
Yeah. From the start, Imagineering was adamant that none of Walt's dialogue would be AI generated. It is taking an amalgamation of real audio from Walt into one cohesive presentation. It's his words.
I couldn't think of anything more perfect, too. You get his own words for majority of One Man's Dream, telling his life story, and then it's actually him talking to you in animatronic form, also with his own words. It's the perfect complement to each other.
Figure was modeled to represent how Walt would have appeared in 1963. The reasoning behind this choice. Imagineers specifically felt this was an extremely exciting era for Walt. He had so many big projects in development, and he would just light up whenever he talked about them. From Mary Poppins to the 1964-1965 New York World's Fair, into his final dreams for Walt Disney World and the city of Epcot. His attire was also carefully crafted and researched with help from the Walt Disney Studios and the Walt Disney Family Museum, including his suit, his shoes, his tie, and rings, STR, and that claddagh ring. I still don't know if I'm saying that right. Been a couple years, but Imagineers even went on to the scrupulous and meticulous effort of carefully crafting Walt's hands, which Emily just found an article in this very same magazine that we keep referencing, where they talk about using his hand casts, which they have to make his hands.
Yeah, apparently when Disney was reaching out to the Walt Disney Family Museum, the museum was like, yeah, we actually have a casting of his hands.
Yeah, isn't
So
that
they
crazy?
let them use that to model that for the actual animatronic.
Isn't that like the craziest thing you've ever heard,
cool.
Emily?
Since we're already talking about this,
Isn't that so crazy?
And you mentioned a ring. Also in this article, they talk about how they looked through so many photos and obviously this casting of his hands to try and figure out what ring he wore the most on his left hand, because I guess it changed. So they looked at all the photos possible, and then you can look this, I forget what the actual ring is called in there. Like it was awarded to him, I think. So they made sure to do a replica even of the ring they believed he wore the most on his left hand.
The Legion of Honor ring awarded to Walt Disney by the Order of the Demoli?
I don't know.
Well,
that's very cool. It's like you would never know any of this. I think even down to the point where for his shoes, they made sure that the animatronic is wearing his exact same shoe size. Like little details that to the general public, they will never know that it's this exact, but to Imagineering, it was very important to try and get everything right.
Well, they will know it if they listen to the show.
Got me there.
Got him. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We talked about the hands. What?
You can do a little bit more on the hands though. There's like another.
Apparently that's the reason why they have this guy. They have his hands. Is apparently that was a thing you used to do back in the old timey Hollywood. People used to come around and get cast your hands. My hands are welcome to have a cast come done of them. Come on over.
Very interesting.
Look at these puppets. Look at these things.
You want this podcaster's hands?
I got big ones.
Worth a lot.
They could be. They won't be.
Oh boy.
Hopefully I don't get carpal tunnel. Well, you know, my life is sent at a keyboard. It's breaking down every part of my body.
Clean. This is positive.
Probably my wrist too soon.
Stop. You're not making it magical.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. The real life bled in.
Let's get back to Walt's hands, not yours.
No, I think that's it for Walt's hands.
Enough of your hands.
I think that's where we're going to leave it this week because we're already around an hour-ish. And I think we still have a lot to go. Basically, we haven't even talked about our feelings.
No.
Which we have really actually talked about our feelings, but we haven't talked about them.
Very secretive.
Yeah. So tips and tricks, where to sit, some of the last little tidbits from the show, our feelings.
Yes.
Probably all next week.
We'll get it more into, again, I feel like the biggest spoiler you can possibly get without seeing the show is by watching a video of it and seeing the animatronic in video form before you've seen it in person.
Right.
We're more next week when we talk about the details and more in depth on this entire presentation. It's really breaking down our thoughts, some critiques others have presented, what our thoughts are in response to those, whether we agree or disagree, what the standouts are, our favorite moments, and more things to look out for and pay attention to. So it's more how much you want to know going in. If you want to be completely surprised, you don't want to know anything, then you might want to skip out next week.
And that's probably a good episode. This is like a warm-up episode for us because, you know, apparently you would never know with what's going to end up on the cutting room floor of this one, but it was it took us a minute to get into form. And so we're like warmed back up maybe a little bit. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we're giving ourselves too much credit there.
I don't know. But yeah, we just want to say again, thank you for understanding. It's like, you know, it's kind of interesting. We really bad month there with the
couple. Good. And then we had to skip another week. Like,
we skipped right before our trip. And then we did our trip recap and we're like, okay, we'll get right back into it. We have a couple things.
It physically pains me when we have to skip a week, but I know it was needed. Those would not have been good episodes at all.
Well, the first weekend I was on, my throat was burning so badly that I woke up at 4 a.m. the first night that I got sick. So Friday night I got sick. Saturday morning I was up at like 4 a.m. My throat was burning so badly. It was so sore. It was a very interesting.
It was not good.
It was, yeah. And somehow your dad still never managed to get it. Everyone else in the house got it. Your dad
Superman.
And then of course, Emily somehow waited 4 days to get it, or actually like 6, because you didn't start to show symptoms until like Friday.
I was sick about a week after you.
Yeah, you were like your mom got sick before you did somehow, which I don't understand how that's possible. But yeah, so
in any case,
thank you for understanding.
Thanks for understanding. We did not intend to have to skip that many weeks. I really wish we didn't have to. We have a lot we have planned, and that just delays us trying to get to everything that we want to cover on the show. But thank you for still sticking around. We're glad to have you here. If you're new, whether you're a longtime listener, thank you for being here, supporting, whether you're just watching, if you like, subscribe to the channel. If you leave a review on Apple Podcasts, whatever you may do, it all honestly does go a great long way to help out and make sure we can keep doing this. We appreciate all of it and that you're here.
Yeah, we really, really do. And I think we'll just leave it at that this week. Again, just thank you, and we'll be back next week.
Glad to be back. I'm happy. Aren't you?
As long as I don't get sick again, commuting to work.
So don't please not. Don't put that evil on us. Let's hope we don't have to skip another week.
plus the last 2 weekends I've had to work.
Yeah, I was getting worried that we would even be able to record today.
Emily's like watching. I'm like, yeah. So fun fact, there's an escalation going on right now, and Emily's just watching her weekend flay away in front of her face.
Sweat's starting to drip down my face.
Yeah, so that's one of the joys of doing what I do. I'm really good at what I do, but it really sucks.
Very humble
sometimes. What's funny is that if you came and told me that I did a good job at work to my face, I would turn away and run away from you because it would make me feel really bad.
Me as your wife, when I praise you about the work you do, you immediately shut down.
Exactly.
Like, what is wrong with you?
So this person you're seeing right here, it's just a persona. It's all in a front because it legitimately,
and really,
if you told me a good job, I would break down.
It is a front because he's a mega Disney nerd. He tries to act like it's just all me, but it's really him.
Probably really should go talk to someone about this, but that's on the to-do list. Let's put it that way.
Well, this took an interesting turn to end the episode. I should probably talk to someone
talk to someone about these unresolved things, but
can we not end on that?
I'm just. Okay. I'm so glad we're back. I'm so glad we're back.
This is better. It's so much better.
This is so much more fun.
I missed it. Did you?
Of course I missed it because I make these funny jokes to you, and you don't think they're very funny, but
at my own
unfortunate
expense,
I can laugh to these jokes, and I think they're hilarious. But yeah.
That's the nice part. I know you're gonna end on that.
I enjoy this. I enjoy this being in this room with you, doing this talking. It's a lot of fun, even though you're so,
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So impressively prepared with research.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah. Again, thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to our Patreon supporters who've stuck with us because we've not put anything out there. Also, thank you so much. We got all of our stuff planned out. We're ready. We're rearing back up to go to the end of the year.
Yeah, which is frightening that we have all of our episodes planned through the end of 2025 and into 2026.
Yeah, we'll probably put something up on Patreon with that schedule. We got some fun trips coming up.
We do.
Which will be trip recap based trip episodes.
We won't quite say what's coming up. We'll wait a little bit.
But yeah,
we can keep some secrets. Sometimes.
We're excited to get to the end of the year and then basically start 2026 training for a marathon. Like we said, San Francisco. The intention to get back into Walt Disney World.
Ooh, fingers crossed. I'm putting out all the positive vibes here.
Yeah.
I think we're destined. 2027 Dopey. It's meant to be. I know it.
Okay.
Gonna happen.
Well, with
there's a lot of exciting things to look forward to. I also want to say thank you to any and all of my clients that have booked a trip with me. It's very exciting to see the next couple trips I'll be happening through this end of the year, and then all of the ones I've gotten booked so far for 2026. So big thank you to all of my clients for helping to support what's my own small business. So thank you.
Okay. I think with that, Emily,
remember to be kind to each other and
let's make it magical.
Bye, everybody. Is it funny that I almost forgot what my sign off is?
Not in the
Like,
slightest.
remember, what do I say? It's
Not
been a while.
not at
I know I
all.
say let's make it magical, but what did I say before that?
Let's let this thing get out of here.